I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that we are talking about some bright light, because the title of tonight's show is "The Tables Have Turned." And that is because 2 days ago we had a powerful new moon at 25 degrees of Taurus. And the reason the tables have turned is because there were actually 6 planets in the powerful earth signs all trining each other, and that can change our emphasis going forward. And so Taurus is the traditional ruler of the second house of how you make your money and what you spend it on, because it's a fixed financial sign. And there were 4 planets in Taurus: the Sun, the new moon, which is always exalted in Taurus, and then Mercury has entered the sign, and so has Uranus. And so those 4 planets, a whole stellium of planets, are beautifully trining Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So there's a lot of strength in the earth signs right now. And that means that the emphasis is on what the earth signs rule. They rule money and your job and your career goals and your public reputation and your investments and your health and your plans for retirement or investments in pension funds. So all of those things can be a rather high priority for everyone right now, which is just great. And another thing that's a little bit unusual at this time is that there are no planets in any of the fire signs. There's nothing in Aries or in Leo or in Sagittarius. So this is not the time to make impulsive, impetuous actions or to do anything that is sort of a thoughtless endeavor. In other words, it would be better if you really planned and thought something out before you do it, because there isn't any strength in the fire signs. So this is a real good time to understand that slowing down is the way to go. And then, since there are no planets in fire signs and you do have to slow down a little bit, then you would understand that your progress toward your goals may take a little while. And another reason why that can be true is because even though there are 6 planets beautifully trining each other in the powerful earth signs, there are also 6 planets that are harshly squaring and opposing each other in the fixed signs. There are 4 fixed signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And so the 6 planets in fixed signs, which are in harsh aspect, involve the 4 that are in Taurus. So the Sun, new moon, Mercury, and Uranus. And those planets, the 4 of them, are being opposed by Jupiter in Scorpio, the other fixed financial sign. So 5 of the 6 planets that are in harsh aspect are in financial signs. And then the 6th planet is Mars. Mars has gone into Aquarius, which rules the future. So it is squaring all the planets in Taurus, and it's also squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. And so that can indicate the possibility that, since fixed signs absolutely don't budge, that progress could take a little extra effort right now, and you will have to adjust your timetable and perhaps allow for some delays. But it's not impossible, because there's such a positive emphasis in the practical earth signs right now. The reason, though, that finances can fluctuate is at any time is because 2 malefic planets have changed signs, and they are now both at the same degree and in very harsh aspect to each other. And it is that Uranus, that planet of volatility and sudden surprising change, is now at 0 degrees of Taurus, and Mars, a planet of aggression, maybe even war, jealousy, hate, anger, and greed, is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And so the particular areas where finances could fluctuate right now are anything that has to do with the things that Aquarius rules, such as technology or space or aviation or electricity or computers. In fact, this could be a time that finances could fluctuate because there is some sort of cyber attack on banks or on anything that has to do with financial accounts. That could be possible. So we do have to understand that, yes, the tables have turned. The emphasis is away from fast actions and on to slower, more deliberate ones that can eventually bring success. And at the same time, there can be a softening in relationships, and that is because Venus is in Gemini, and Venus is a loving planet in an air sign, and now it is trining that Mars in Aquarius. When Venus and Mars trine each other, that simply means that men and women are getting along better, which is good. And so there is the possibility now, since Gemini rules part-time things or temporary efforts, there is the possibility that people can get together in a more peaceful or compromising way, and that could even involve people who had been enemies of each other. They can be willing to talk or settle down or try something, hopefully peaceful, that involves a trial process of some sort. In other words, it might not be permanent, but they could agree to say, all right, let's try this on a trial basis. And that could be rather nice right now. That could work out for you and a lot of other people. So that would be good. And that simply means with 3 retrograde planets now, Jupiter in Scorpio, Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which are all sextiling each other, that's favorable. And with such a positive emphasis on practical matters and on affordability and on accountability, that is why the tables have turned now. And they have turned away from people who have been saying, I just want to do this my way no matter what. Those kinds of actions we're turning away from now as the tables are turning, because there is a much greater emphasis now on solid, well-established policies and procedures that have been successful in the past. And so this is actually a wonderful time for you to just take one step at a time. Because if you take one step at a time and you remain on solid ground, you would be surprised at how much you have traveled and how many things you could succeed at, say, over a year's period of time. So this isn't a time to hurry up. This is a time to slow down and think about things and then go forward. And you can do that right now in a successful way. So give that a try. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, what it means for you is that I'm wondering, Aries, do you notice something a little bit different? It's that there's nothing in your sun sign for the first time in 7 years. Uranus now, which has been in your sun sign all that time, has moved into Taurus, which is just great. So there's nothing in your sign, Aries, and that means your life is going to calm down. And there's nothing in Leo, and there's nothing in Sagittarius. There's nothing in any of the fire signs. So this is the time when you can sort of take a breather, Aries, because not only is your life going to calm down, but the emphasis has changed. The tables have turned toward a much greater emphasis on practical matters and what's affordable. And so this is a time when if you just sort of stop and slow down a little bit and you know, relax, I think that you could probably think a little bit more clearly about something you've got your mind on that involves money. And this, since the new moon is right ahead of your sun sign, this is a rather good time for you to be thinking about either making more money or investing your money in something that is of high quality and that will last a long time. Those things could work out really well for you. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is the new moon that you've been waiting for all year, and that's because it's so powerful. After all, the sun, the exalted new moon, and Mercury and Uranus are all in your sun sign, and they're being trined by Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. That is 6 planets that are strong on their own and very harmoniously aspecting each other. So this is an absolutely excellent time for you to keep your mind on problem solving, jobs, career goals, what's affordable, and on being accountable for your actions and how they affect others. Because if you just slow down and think about what you want to do and on how it will impact others, you can be making some very good decisions right now, Taurus. In fact, I don't see anything stopping you. And so if you are making some good decisions that involve long-range planning, you're going to be very successful. The thing you do need to understand, though, is that the tables have turned, and what that means, particularly since there's no planets in fire signs, is that you could only take one step at a time, and you can't have everything your own way, because Jupiter in Scorpio is opposing your sun sign, and it's ruling financing and credit and debt and loans and taxes. And so there can be some money going out in your life as much as the possibility of it coming in. And then the danger is that Mars in Aquarius is squaring your sun sign, and particularly Uranus in your sign at 0 degrees. So at any time your finances could fluctuate, and that's why we all need to slow down a little bit. But other than that, I think you're going to be real successful right now, Taurus. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, Venus is in your sign, and now you've got some backup because Mars in Aquarius is trining that Venus. And that means, much to your astonishment, Gemini, there can be people, even people who had been former adversaries of yours or critics, that may want to sort of compromise and get along right now, or at least attempt to do something on a trial basis. And believe me, you could make that work not only for yourself, but for them as well. So you can be very successful in making some sort of deal or proposing something that's just part-time or temporary. And you would not only be successful, but you would be even more popular for that. So I hope you give that a try, Gemini. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, oh, lucky you. Finally, there are no planets in Aries to square your sun. And it has been that Uranus and other planets have been squaring your sun sign for the last 7 years. And that has provided some upsets in your life and some surprises at times. And that has been generally initiated by others, but still it could have thrown you off base too, Cancer. But right now, there are a lot of planets, 5 of them, that are right behind your sun sign, Cancer. Lucky you. That means in the background of your life, there's plenty of opportunity. First of all, Venus is in Gemini, right behind your sun sign, and behind Venus is the new moon. In other words, the sun, the new moon in Taurus, and Mercury and Uranus are all sextiling your sun. And so it just means, and these planets are going to move, some of them are quite slow, but others are going to move and come into your sun sign soon. So Cancer, I think that you're getting ready, perhaps behind the scenes, to make some changes. And what kind of changes would these be? I think personal ones. In other words, with Jupiter in Scorpio trining your sun and Neptune in Pisces trining your sun, and all of those good planets right behind your sun sign, you may be deciding to make some choices that are strictly personal that could make you happier. They could involve a move. They could involve going from full-time work to part-time work. That's well aspected. They could involve your relationships in one way or another, which can work out much better right now. So I think there's a lot of possibilities for you right now, Cancer. And the good news is, since the tide has turned, there's going to be fewer worries for you as well, which is nice. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, yours is a fixed sign. And remember, I said there are 6 planets in fixed signs, all squaring and opposing each other, and they're all squaring and opposing your sun sign, Leo. And they denote the possibility of progress being made in a very slow way and of having to face some sort of challenge or obstacle. Well, that goes about double for you, Leo, because first of all, in an unusual way, you are somewhat without support right now, and that is because for the first time in 7 years, there's no planets in the fire signs. And for 7 years, at least Uranus was always trining your sun sign, so you did always have some sort of support. Well, now there isn't any. And so you really are on your own, and I think you are facing challenges. What kind could they be? Well, first of all, there can be uncertainty about your future because now Mars is in Aquarius opposing your sun sign. So there can be jealous competition around that you have to sort of watch out for. And then the new moon in Taurus with the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus there were all squaring your sun. So your expenses could be high, in fact, too high, and you'll have to do something about that sooner or later. And then Jupiter in Scorpio, the other fixed financial sign, is also squaring your sun sign. So I think that this is a time, since the tables have turned right now, that you really have to sort of keep your hands in your pocket and not spend a penny extra right now, Leo, because the unexpected could occur. Remember, I said finances could fluctuate at any time. And you are certainly vulnerable to some sort of financial problems right now, and that is what could also make your future uncertain. So you need to be very, very careful right now because the tables have turned, and however you used to operate is not going to work anymore. And you might not believe me, but you should, because you're facing more challenges than can be handled at the moment, and that's why I suggest you really sort of curtail your activities and really stop spending money. You actually can't afford to keep doing that. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I don't think you can do any wrong, Virgo, and the reason why is there are 6 planets trining your sun, because under the new moon in Taurus, the Sun, new moon, Mercury, your own ruler, and Uranus were all trining your sun, and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are also trining your sun, and those 2 planets are going to stay in trine to your sun sign until the year 2020. And so if your emphasis is on your career and jobs and money and your retirement and what is affordable and accountability to others, I think you're going to be doing just fine. In fact, Virgo, this is a time with 6 planets trining your sun that you could be looking at a promotion or certainly more money coming in. It might be coming from an investment instead of a work paycheck, but it also could be coming from both. So I think this is an optimum time for you to be concentrating on practical matters, accountability, and affordability, because not only is that where you shine, but you should be rewarded right now. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when you too are going to feel some sort of relief, and that is because Uranus in Aries is no longer opposing your sun sign. So in the last 7 years, you have had some surprising upsets in your life. Generally, they have been generated by other people, not you, but they could have sure thrown you off balance, Libra. And also, you have had to endure with management changes or changes in policies and procedures from large corporations or government agencies. And that could have been recently because Mars, Saturn, and Pluto in Capricorn were also squaring your sun. Well, Mars has moved on. It's trining your sun now, but Saturn and Pluto are going to continue to square your sun sign. So you do still have to be cautious. However, you're very lucky right now, Libra, because Venus in Gemini is trining your sun, and Venus is your own ruler, so you're more popular now. And Mars in Aquarius is also trining your sun. And so much to your surprise, there could be people around that want to make peace right now, and there could also be people that have caused you trouble in the past that are deciding to change their tune and maybe try something on a trial basis right now that can work out. And you might be the mediator or the diplomat or the person who's able to bring different sides together now and really work something out. So I think you're going to shine right now, Libra, and I think that's going to make you happy too. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, remember the tide has turned, and it has not turned in your favor, Scorpio. And the reason why is that the new moon in Taurus, which was the new moon, the sun, Mercury, and Uranus, are all opposing your sun sign where you have Jupiter. And the problem is that Mars has entered Aquarius, and now it is squaring your sun sign. So these 5 planets in harsh aspect to your sun sign, and particularly since Mars is one of your rulers, indicate that the tide has, or the tables have turned away from people who want to all have their own way toward policies and procedures that have been well established and that have held up over time and been successful. And so the emphasis is on material matters and on accountability and on affordability. And speaking of affordability, there certainly is something you cannot afford, Scorpio, because it's too expensive. Now, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily broke. It simply means that something could be overpriced, and so it's too expensive. Or it might be that the financing terms are too high as interest rates go up. Or it can be that your credit is a little bit stretched. But whatever you used to succeed at in the past, the ways you've operated, that's what needs to change, Scorpio. So if I were you, I wouldn't take anything for granted right now. And instead, keep devoting yourself to your goals if you want to, but you have to consider them and maybe even trim them down in terms of affordability and also in terms of accountability. Because whatever any of us does now, it involves other people. So whatever your actions are, Scorpio, you have to consider how they're going to affect others before you take action. And this isn't a good time for people to take action. This is a better time for people to sit down and think about things and then take only one step at a time. And even one step might be too much at the moment, Scorpio. So if I were you, I'd just hold still and think things over if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you probably are going to wonder what's happened, and that is because things could have suddenly slowed down in your life, because after all, there are no planets in air and fire signs for the first time. So Uranus isn't trining your sun anymore the way it has been in the last 7 years, and there's nothing in Leo either. And so this is a very good time for you to just pause, if you can, Sagittarius, and reflect on things that are affordable and on accountability for your actions as well, because Venus in Gemini is opposing your sun sign and Neptune in Pisces is squaring it. And that means that you may not know who to trust all the time, so you have to check people. And also there are some people who may be younger who are not necessarily agreeing with you right now. They could be agreeing with others. They may decide to go a different way than you had anticipated. And that's why it's good for you to sort of take a pause right now and think things over if you can, Sagittarius. This isn't necessarily a time for you to take action, but this is a better time for you to decide at least what your next step will be. You don't have to take it at the moment. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when you really have a lot of things going your way, or should I say coming your way, because the 4 planets under the Taurus new moon were all trining your sun sign, and Saturn and Pluto are in your sun sign. So definitely, Capricorn, there's going to be some more money coming your way, and I would describe it as good money, solid money. And so that means that you could have an opportunity to earn more money, or it may be that an investment of yours is worth more than you thought, and maybe if you think about selling it, you could have a lot more money coming your way. So anyway, I think that you are really in the driver's seat right now, Capricorn, and there's actually nothing stopping you. There is nothing in any of the other cardinal signs. And so you too can sort of slow down, take a deep breath, and decide what your next step will be, and go right ahead and take it, because you're going to be able to afford it. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a very different time for you, or at least you're entering a very different time, because remember, Aquarius, the tables have turned. And the reason why is that the emphasis is much more on earth signs and on practicality, money, jobs, career, public reputation, and long-term retirement plans. And so you've really got to think long-term right now about money. Everybody does. But it's particularly important for you because Mars has entered your sign, and you may not want to sit down and straighten out financial matters, but you're going to have to do it. And there are other people that could maybe even charm you into it, because Venus in Gemini is trining your sun. But oh boy, that new moon with 4 planets in Taurus was squaring your sun, and Jupiter in Scorpio is also squaring your sun. 5 planets in financial signs harshly aspecting your sun is a real wake-up call to you, Aquarius. You've got to settle something right now, because if you don't, it'll cost you more in the long run. So cut your losses while you can, Aquarius. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when I think it would be wise for you to sort of take the long view about things. And the reason why is that there are no planets in Aries ahead of your sun sign right now. There are no planets in the fire signs. You don't have to act fast right now, Pisces. But oh boy, that new moon in Taurus with 4 planets there sextiled your sun. And that's good. That simply means with Jupiter in Scorpio trining your sun right now, and you have Neptune in your sun sign, that you can make some good decisions or make some good goals for you that strictly deal with money or finances, or something that can increase in value. So whether it's an investment in something where the money grows, or whether you're just thinking about something, buying something new that is very nice, I think that as long as you sit down and really think about the money, you could succeed at that right now, Pisces. So this is a time to just decide what you want to do, what's affordable, and how your actions will be holding you accountable to others. If you sort of pre-plan your actions, you'll be much more successful with them. So good luck. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show, and you can read our blog and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org.